Greetings, fellow ICOPs. This is Sir Hammer, and I've got a fun video for you today. Today, we have a sync drop in ICOP. We have 3 ICOPs on each side. We have 8th grade in the St. Louis, me in the Harugumo, Bly in the Vampire 2, Squid in the Tashkent. We have Ramiger in the Alaska, and Alf in the Iwami. Now, this is an interesting lineup, and it's always fun to shoot your fellow clanmates, especially when you're all in a Discord call together. There are always fun screams, curses, compliments, the whole spectrum. If you're an ICOP and you don't join us for events like this, which is they're very spur of the moment, you should consider joining the chat from time to time. It can be good fun. So, I'm in the Harugumo, and the enemy only has 1 radar in the form of Ramiger in the Alaska. So in the Harugumo, basically my role is going to be a gunboat, because this is the tier 10 Japanese gunboat destroyer. This thing has ridiculous guns. It has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 turrets that are dual mounted 100mm. Now, you might think, 100mm, that's not going to have a lot of pin. Well, this is where Wargaming has decided that there's a little bit of magic, voodoo, whatever, in this game. These 100mm shells will actually pin 30mm of armor, which is a little ridiculous. Now, the other thing I have to tell you about this build that I have, I'm running IFHE. That increases my pin on my HE to 37mm, which is well over the most common armor type of battleships, which is 32. So what we're going for here is a lot of pin damage. IFHE will reduce your chance of fire by half. So right now, these shells only have a 4% fire chance, which is garbage. But that's not what we're going for here. We're just going to go for raw penetration. So, you'll see I'm pushed up pretty far near the sea cap. That's because I have good old Bly with me, and I'm feeling pretty confident that we can hold this down and take a pretty aggressive position, because the enemy's only got 1 radar. We can deal with 1 radar, as long as we're smart about it. And speaking of radar, there it is. So, instead of sitting in my smoke, where I'm completely spotted and able to be shot by the entire world, I'm going to move a little closer to this island in front of me, just so that my profile is a little bit smaller. Right now, a Satsuma and a Kremlin and that Gearing are the only people that even have a shot on me, and that's fine, because they're not going to waste their time. So radar's gone, and again, I'm free to do pretty much whatever I want. Now, Harugumo, while not a Shimakaze, its other tier 10 counterpart, it does have torpedoes. They're not great, but they're nothing to scoff at. They're just average, I would say. So what you'll notice is it's only got 1 torpedo launcher, a 6-tube torpedo launcher. They're decently fast, and they've got 12-kilometer range, which is not bad. But it also has a torpedo reload booster, which means basically 3 times a match you can just claim another rack of torpedoes, which is pretty cool. So you'll see here, I'm going to opt to use it. Mainly because I see that Gearing is just sitting in smoke. I saw some shells come out of there, and I have a suspicion that he's just going to sit there. So we're going to double tap. We're going to get all 12 torps in the water. And now you'll see the reload is 2 minutes and 40 seconds and a little bit of change, so almost 3 minutes. And yeah, there's the torps coming out of the smoke, and mine are almost there, so he's probably just gonna sit there and hopefully eat one. And yeah. Yep. And that, boys and girls, is why you don't just sit in your smoke as a destroyer, because smoke is a torpedo magnet. So we see Squid is now at the D cap, so I'm probably going to push over there and deal with him, and leave Bly to cap C, because he is now relatively alone. Now, I don't remember exactly why I didn't shoot at Squid here. I was probably a bit of a misplay on my part, but I think my reasoning at the time was I'm going to stay dark and just try to move into the decap so the enemy roughly doesn't know where I am. And I'm much more of a threat that way if they don't know where I am, because if they know where I am, they can reposition to get out of my way. So, what I'm doing here is I'm going to move into the decap, and I'm going to actually try to get close enough to HE spam some of these battleships. Now normally, this is the downside of the Harugumo. You push up a little too far, you smoke up, you sit in your smoke and farm, and you basically, you turn into that Garrett that just got torped. You sit in your smoke and you get torped. The reason I'm doing this is because Squid is 900 HP, the only DD over here. 900 HP. He's probably going to stay a little bit back, and his torps are not that long range. I don't remember exactly what they are, but I know they're not far enough to reach me. Hopefully. So, that can afford me to push up a little bit further than I usually would, something that would probably normally get me killed, and sit here, and I'm just going to start farming Alf. And you remember what I said about hearing the screams of your enemies as they die in Discord. This is one of those scenarios where it's very fun to be in the same chat room as the person you're shooting. And you'll probably notice I have not set a fire on Alf yet. This is partially due to the fact that he's already on fire, and he's probably taken the captain skill that reduces his number of fire, which is fine. But it also has to do with the fact that I'm running IFAG, and again, these shells only have a 4% fire chance, which is pretty awful. But look how many shells this boat can put out. This is the strength of the boat. This thing has a ridiculous fire rate and good pin. More pin than it deserves to have. So these are Squid's torps that we predicted a little while ago. And wow, that was close. Almost. So we were right. Not quite in range of his torps. But that could have very easily been an entirely different story. I'm lucky I stopped where I did. Okay, so I see Bly is engaging the Kitakaze. Normally I would just let him have this kill instead of trying to take it, but he looks like he's in a bit of a pickle because he's got two other ships on his other side as well. So I'm going to help out, and turns out that was the right call because neither of us got him anyway. So I'm not spotted. I'm going to try to move in a little closer here. And my intent is to throw torps in there because it's already worked once this game. Throw torps into smoke, kills just appear. So we're going to throw one rack. And if I remember how I played this game, I'm pretty sure I saved the reload booster. Because I'm just now noticing, at the time of playing, that this Satsuma has moved up very close to me. And I can really put a hurt on him, because he has nowhere to go. He's bow into an island. And I see that he's still moving forward. And I'm pretty sure he's going to ram this island and be stuck. So I'm going to pop the reload booster and hopefully kill this guy. Now he is going to spot me because he is within my detection, which is 6.2. But I'm very quickly, if I'm smart, I'm going to smoke up. And if you'll notice, where I put those torps was not where the indicator told me to put the torps, because that was, I used my meat sponge inside my skull, the old brain, and realized he was going to hit the island, and the indicator where to put your torps doesn't take that into account. So I just looked where he was probably going to be when he backed up after he beached himself. And sure enough, he's going to take enough torps, and he's going to die. Okay, so let's take a look at the board at this point. Both teams are down 4 boats. That's pretty even, and in fact the same types of boats in the same amounts. So this is a close game. Anybody's game at this point. So you'll see I'm farming over the mountain, trying to hit Alf. even though I can't see him at all. This is a case of you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Because he's 8,000 HP, he's almost dead, no one else is really shooting at him, he's gonna get a heal back, now is really my only chance to finish him off. I'm having a little bit of success, but not much. At least a little bit. So you'll see I did actually hit him, I got 12 shells on him. And he's now down to just a little over 6,000 HP. I know I'm probably not going to kill him because my shells are going to land a little short. He's just at the very edge of my range. So, Alf, being the smart player he is going to turn out and get away. So, at this point, I'm noticing the enemy is pushing the southern side of C, and they're going to start wrapping us really soon. If we get people south of us and north of us, we're in trouble, because you can see most of my team is still in the decap, which is not great, because we are now, well, we were a little behind. Now it's about even again, but if we're behind and they flank us, oh, we're toast. So I'm going to have to move over to the C cap and try to put a little hurt on somebody, because you can see I've still got a lot of HP left. I've got a lot of fight left in this. So the Kitakaze shows up, tries to shoot me. I know he doesn't have a lot of HP, so I'm just going to shoot into the smoke and hope I hit him. He gets spotted for a second, which allows me to readjust. I'm going to keep shooting even though we can't see him, and he goes down. Again, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So I see planes coming in at this point. And I know he's probably not going to strike me because he's got torpedo bombers. But just in case, I'm going to slow down right here at this island. Just so that even if he did decide to drop on me, his torps wouldn't have time to arm. But it doesn't really matter anyway because he's going to drop on the Soyuz. Because he's low HP and on fire. And luckily the Soyuz does survive, but I imagine probably not for long. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, they have a Vampire 2 that if you look at the right-hand side of my screen, you can see that he has, at his last spotted, maybe 100 HP. So I'm not really that scared of the Vampire. In fact, I'm hoping I find him. But I'm not actively seeking him out, because just about anyone can kill him at this point. So I'm going to start focusing on these big ships, because we need to start catching up on the big ships here. Luckily the Midway takes out the Schlieffen, so I don't have to worry about him. I see what might be a free smoke cloud, because I'm out of smoke. I'm going to go up here and try to take it, throw some torps at the FPG. And pretty soon here I'm going to start getting the guns hot. You'll notice I'm waiting till these planes get a little close to me before I turn my AA back on. That's so that if he did want to strike me, he wouldn't have enough time to initiate a drop and he'd have to pass me and come back around. Also, it ensures, see, he missed because he didn't have time to aim. And it also doesn't give him a lot of time to get out of my flak. My flak's going to start hitting him, and it's going to take him a while to get out. So we're just going to farm the FTG a little bit. And I'd like you to look at the top of the screen and see that I've just now gotten my first fire, which is hilarious, being that I've gotten 310 plus whatever is on the bottom of the screen, about 40 shells on target, so 346 shells on target and only one fire. This is the problem with IFHE. You have to make sure you're taking it on boats that don't need the fire to actually deal damage, because you're not going to get a lot of fires. But you can see I do still have 110,000 damage, which is not bad. So you're really relying on those full penetrations. And if you do get a lucky fire, like we have right now, hey, don't look a gift fire in the mouth. So at this point, I am deciding, there's a Midway in A. I could try to go after that FTG, I could try to go after the Conda in the back of the map, I could try to go after the Vampire, or I could just torp this carrier, and that sounds a lot more fun. So we're gonna just rush this carrier, and we're gonna wiggle, hope he can't bomb us, and probably kill him, because no one else can shoot at me right now. The Conda, again, back of the map, FTG is like 4,000 HP, he's not gonna shoot at me. Not really. So it's just the carrier. So if the carrier can't kill me, he's toast. And you can see our Conda finally takes out the Vampire, which was expected, being that the Vampire had 100 HP, roughly. And when you're in a situation where you're about to torp a CV, it doesn't hurt to taunt them a little bit. Just a little bit. Not too much. You can see I take that opportunity in the chat. Because at this point, there's nothing he can do to stop what's about to happen. We're gonna round this island, and we're just gonna give him both barrels of these torps. Yep, we do use the reload booster. The one rack would have been enough to kill him, but I'm not going to get an opportunity to use torps again, so might as well go for the double tap just in case something funky happens. And down goes the CV. Always a good feeling.
Problem solved, sir.
Well, the FDG healed up and was immediately taken back down to about 5,000 HP. We're going to take this opportunity to finish him off. He is going to shoot back at me a little bit, but I've got enough HP that I don't really care. And we pick up the Kraken. So if you've never gotten a Kraken with Yamato Isoroku, the captain, Yamamoto Isoroku, sorry, you actually get some buffs for the Kraken. You get a 2-minute heal, which heals back about half of your HP, which on a destroyer that doesn't have a heal is incredibly powerful. It's really good, and it basically ensures that if you get a Kraken and the game is close, you're going to have enough of a buff that you're probably going to win the game. It's not something you get to take advantage of often, but it really works out when it happens. So the other buff that you get is a reload boost. And I don't remember the exact number, but it's rather significant. It's somewhere around 15 to 20%, as I recall, on your guns. So in a moment, you're going to see me shoot at this Conda, and you're going to see how fast these guns shoot, and it's a little ridiculous. But with that, this game is basically over. So enjoy the last few seconds, check out this boost, and thanks for coming and watching this video with me. I appreciate it, and we'll catch you in the next one.